What's up, folks, and welcome to The Modern Truth. I'm MJ, here with Alex Storm, and today we're going to do a special TV discussion about True Detective Season 1. Now, as always, all of our discussions are spoiler discussions, so if you haven't seen the show, in this case, you know what, just watch it anyway, it's not worth it, but anyway, something resembling spoiler discussion may occur during this. So we're just going to get right to it, man. I want to talk about the entire season, but the weird thing about the entire season is that so much of it wasn't really important to the way it ended that I kind of feel like we can mostly focus on the season finale and it'll probably cover much of the issues with this season, right?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like if we had done a discussion halfway through, we could have been a lot more positive because I certainly was really into a couple of the characters. I was really into Colin Farrell's character and Rachel McAdams' character during the beginning, and especially her. I thought she was so badass, and then it all started falling apart sometime around episode 7 or so, and by the end, I was just like, fuck, what happened? What happened? Why did I like this? Why did I like her? I mean, not to say that I thought it was comparable to the first True Detective, but I was at least able to be invested in the characters at the beginning, and by the end, I was not invested. I didn't care about Colin Farrell's son. I didn't care about Rachel McAdams and Colin Farrell's love affair. I didn't care about Vince Vaughn losing his business and his wife being in Venezuela. I just did not care. So something happened. I don't know what happened. I got confused. I stopped caring. The characters fell apart. They stopped being compelling.
I never cared, personally, so I can't really talk to the point where they fell apart so much as the point where I was like, this is over. You know, essentially, I was holding on in man mode for the first 5 episodes or so, and then somewhere around episode 6 is when I got to, oh shit, this is bad, and it's not getting better. Episode 6 was the big orgy scene that all the news was reporting on, and when they were casting porn actresses and all this stuff. I was hoping that was going to be a fascinating, interesting scene. It might be the dullest orgy in the history of cinema, as far as I can tell. Who would have thought a room filled with naked people having sex could be so bland? But that was a turning point for Rachel McAdams' character as well, because that's when they decided to introduce this aspect of her being molested when she was a child, raped as a child. And all the things that came from that introduction of that information just pretty much set her character on a downward spiral as far as I'm concerned, with her initially starting off as a strong female character to then becoming essentially just on the sidelines like every other woman in the movie. I mean, in the show.
Yeah, definitely.
What are you laughing about?
No, Rachel McAdams' character, beginning, super badass. There's this thing, like, she's worried about sex, worried about relationships. Her dad's like a cult leader. None of it matters. We can get behind her. She's badass. She's a female. It's okay for her just to like sex. When they introduce this whole thing of her having been molested when it's a kid, it's like, okay, actually women can't like sex unless something bad and traumatic has happened to them when they're children. And then it turns out that that completely consumes her character for the rest of the show.
Yes.
Like, up until that point, she was badass. That's all we knew about her. From that point on, she's a victim. She has to be taken care of. She has to be loved. She needs to be validated. She can't just function on her own when we saw her functioning perfectly fine on her own up until that point.
Yeah.
Super frustrating
and
to watch.
I guess the idea, and they explore this, is that her going to that party and being on drugs triggered some memory in her that she had completely suppressed. Again, I just got bad news for Nick Pizzolatto. That's not interesting. You know, on top of being in poor taste and it just totally whacked out of left field, it just isn't interesting because the character was far more interesting as just a female cop who was just like, fuck everybody, I'm doing my thing. And then again, I was just like rolling my eyes at the beginning of the season finale. She's in the bed after having sex, just like, yeah, just recounting her, rape story.
Trauma.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah. And of course, for me, I have to talk about it. And again, I'm sorry, guys, but we want to talk about the whole season, but come on. Hey, the last thing you see is the thing you remember the most. And again, if you've seen the entire season, you know that all the stuff that happened in the first 7 episodes doesn't matter anyway. So let's keep talking about the finale, where she at one point says, I wanted to get in the car, and I liked it, damn it. Now, look, this is a really serious issue for me, It's just absolutely insane to try to tackle something as complicated as child rape in a freaking cop show, okay? And I said, maybe if the show was about a female cop who was raped as a child, and that was like the entire premise of the story, and she also was doing cop things, maybe there would be enough time and enough nuance to explore her getting to the point where she said, I enjoyed it. But this show is not the show, and frankly, 99.9% of all shows that have ever been on television aren't the show. Matter of fact, probably 100%. The show that exists that would be okay with the character saying she was okay with being raped as a child, it doesn't exist yet. And again, I'm just saying this is shaky territory for a guy that was criticized in the first season for his portrayal of women. I think in his brain, he thought by creating this character and having her the way she was in the first 4 to 5 episodes was like, this is my answer. She's a strong female character. And then he essentially crippled her and just totally fucked her over in the end, making her a useless sack of flesh sitting in a fucking safe house for the last episode saying, are you coming? You better come back to me, buddy. I love you. And all this shit. Well, she didn't say I love you, but
She wanted to.
Just like.
It was frustrating. You got to see her be a strong female character, to be what I wish all females were, and then exactly nothing happened, not contribute whatsoever to any sort of finale to the film. In the end, we see her walking away in Venezuela, getting ready to raise a child on her own from a one-night stand with like her coworker, who she fell in love with immediately after because they shared their deep, dark secrets.
Yeah.
So frustrating. And honestly, like, while it totally cheapened her character, it took away from her so much, Colin Farrell, it took away too.
Yeah.
Like, his like bed confessions of being like killing this guy who was like not the actual rapist of his wife. It was just like, no, this is unnecessary. This is not real for these characters. To even believe that these characters got together, they needed to have some sort of sexual tension from the beginning. And even then, I think I would have been frustrated with it because this show did not need a love affair. It could have been about these two cops coming together to solve a mystery, and it just being that, them doing badass cop shit, solving a mystery. But unfortunately, there wasn't enough mystery to solve because the mystery was confusing and a mystery to them and ultimately didn't matter because in the end, they were just going to run away after stealing some money anyways. So maybe that was the problem. Maybe there wasn't something for them to fix, and so they had to make it about the characters. And so they made it about the characters falling in love.
Well, I just want to say,
I don't know.
I just want to say, the first season of True Detective was also about two characters falling in love. It was a bromance, okay? So I don't want to necessarily say that having a close relationship between the characters is inherently flawed, but yes, having a female detective and then having her have sex with one of the male detectives is pretty fucking lame. I know. It's like, can you not make a story that doesn't have this element in it? Like, why does this have to be a thing? Like, again, I was down with her. The first time you meet her character, she's fucking a guy, and the dude's like, whoa, I didn't know you were into that shit, And, like, I'm totally fine with that. Like, if she was banging everybody in the damn police department, that's cool, but she shouldn't have fucked Colin Farrell's character. Like, because it's just, it doesn't make any sense. It cheapens it, and it's like this ham-fisted attempt to, like, create investment in the characters that wasn't there for the first 7 episodes. And again, like, I did not watch the first season of True Detective because I wanted to see people hooking up or any romantic relationships at all. So again, whether it was necessary or not, they certainly didn't do anything with it. Like, the Matthew McConaughey scene in the first season where he has sex with Woody Harrelson's wife, like, it's a sex scene. It's really awkward. And it definitely does drive the plot in a way that's fucked up, but still, it makes sense. Because even with that, like, that's a great example. You see what you can perceive as a developing sexual tension between these two characters. You're like, okay, he's all asexual acting and stuff, but you can kind of see he might be digging her a little bit. And maybe if the opportunity showed up, he would take advantage, and he did. So it didn't feel like it was completely out of left field. Like it does in this season.
If Matthew McConaughey and her had fallen in love and that had been the drama, that would have ruined it.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe that was the part is like, okay, I can go with her character, like not caring, having sex with lots of dudes. Why not? She doesn't need to have been molested as a child to have sex with a lot of dudes and enjoy it. That's fine. But since they made that a thing and they made her have sex with him, why would she fall in love with him? She has sex with all these dudes. She enjoys sex. That's cool. Why Colin Farrell's character, the most like fucked up, broken, like unlikable character, like he even says, I'm out of your league, and he's the one who she's like, oh, I'm in love. Like, we're both in these deep, dark places. No, we don't need this.
And they didn't do a good enough job of even, like, again, building their, not even attention, but just, like, their closeness through the investigation up to that point where it was like, okay, I can see it. They're in the trenches together.
Yeah, they were both trying to, trying to work for their own interests.
Yeah.
Like, they weren't doing anything that was like, we're both here for the same purpose, and we're both trying to achieve this goal of solving this mystery. And they're both working for their own departments, and like they weren't unified.
Yeah, it's not fair to compare things to other things, but in this case, I think you have to compare season 2 to season 1. And to that point, season 1, they were working for a common cause the entire time. Even if they hated each other, they still wanted to take down Carcosa and the Yellow King and all that stuff. And it's like, I want to give a little love. We got to talk about Taylor Kitsch's character. Okay, we could go on a rant, but he was also in the show. And we got to talk about Vince Vaughn a little bit too. So I wanted to start with Taylor Kitsch because we can get over this really quickly. So we can just go ahead and zoom right through it. So nothing wrong with his performance, in my opinion. But he was just so bland. Like, honest to God, I mean, it was really interesting that he was like a cop, motorcycle cop. Because you think of motorcycle cops generally as sort of not very significant just in the overall hierarchy compared to detectives and stuff like that. And that's also where he fell in the story for me. All of this backstory about being a closet homosexual and having a pregnant girlfriend, all this stuff seemed completely pointless yet again. Didn't help with any investment, but it all set up his stupid death, which, again, I have to talk about. So his gay lover, who is apparently the best actor in the world because I totally thought he was digging him, man. He had me fooled. Also a mercenary, sets him up and then he tries to fucking kill him. And then when he kills his gay lover, to talk about missing like things, he kills his gay lover and literally when he was standing there, when he pulled his body and he shot him on the thing, I was like, is that the gay lover? Because he seemed to have no, like, I mean, I know the guy was like chasing after him, trying to shoot him and everything, but there didn't seem to be any like, oh shit, man, the dude I'm just like, just had sex with it. Yeah, like, it's just like, and it was like, that almost sums up everything that's wrong with this entire season. It was like, anything that made sense didn't happen, and all sorts of things that didn't make sense happen, like everything dealing with the Vince Vaughn character. Where should we start? Should we talk about Stan? Maybe
Who's
Blake.
Stan?
Blake, perhaps?
Who's Blake?
Who the fuck is Stan, man? Casper?
Who's Casper?
The Russian guy?
Why does Casper matter?
The Mexicans? Yeah. Man, did they not put every fucking cliche from every crime thing ever in one damn movie? In one damn movie?
Couldn't keep them all straight, and they didn't matter. In the end, nothing Vince Vaughn did mattered.
Not a single thing, but we did get to see him have a lot of really strange conversations with his highly intoxicated or high as hell wife or whatever the hell she was on this entire season. What was that?
Yes, I know there's been a lot of hate put out there for the wife. I honestly, I don't know. Of course she wasn't great, but I don't think that there was enough. I don't think Vince Vaughn carried enough weight, no matter who he was against. His character, in the end of things, was a non-character. That character only existed for his lines. He only existed so he could say his like nihilistic things and like sort of reminisce of Matthew McConaughey's lines in the first episode, which he wasn't able to deliver effectively. But I think it was because in the end, we don't need his character. Yeah. If this was only about the cops, his character would have been a Casper, a Blake, a Tony. Yeah. He would have been just one of those guys.
That's the insanity of it.
He didn't need to have any weight because he didn't matter. He could have been one of those guys, any one of those guys that was not a star, and meeting with Colin Farrell's character, and it would have been the exact same effect. He didn't need so many lines. They could have made him as important as he was supposed to be and eliminated 9 of those other characters who were somehow involved with the gangster shit and the mystery that didn't matter, that we never got to get a payoff for, we never got to find out anything that made sense, and we didn't need to because all of our main characters didn't care about solving the crime or they didn't care about keeping the business. Vince Vaughn's character, they just eventually got money, tried to run away, didn't work, and it didn't matter.
Perhaps the biggest issue is exactly that. Maybe he should have been the real big bad of the season or something. And then you could have argued that they could devote that much time. You know, I got to reference a different show, Daredevil. Netflix's Daredevil, which has a Kingpin character who is the main villain of the season, who gets damn near as much screen time as Daredevil does, and is an incredibly compelling completely justified in every scene he's in to see what he's doing because he's on point. By the way, Vincent D'Onofrio as this character would have killed it. Okay, I'm sorry, Vince.
But
I'm sorry.
he still wouldn't have mattered. And
I think he would have
if
made it better.
Eliminate
He
a
would have
lot
made
of
it better.
those other characters and just focus more on whatever Vince Vaughn's backstory was supposed to be. Maybe we could have had more investment in him. Maybe we could have believed him in a little bit harder instead of hearing that he had all these business deals and then seeing him try to repair these business deals that we don't care about. We don't know what this gave him. We don't know what he gave to them. We don't care. You know?
Yeah, and this is also a point where I like to stop and say, you know, anyone watching, you want to get in the comments and explain to us the season and tell us they were idiots, please do. I want you to break it down for me because I don't want to have to go check out a Wikipedia to understand what the hell happened in season 2. You know, I was able to follow the first season perfectly fine, but for some inexplicable reason, this season was a clusterfuck. So I'm glad you, on your first viewing, totally picked out the guy who was wearing the crow head was the dude that they, you know, talked to. Glenn was totally the guy who fucking killed Casper. I know you knew it, man. You're awesome. And tell me why I'm not. I'm serious, because I have never seen this fucking character, even though they claim he was in episode 3 or something. I don't remember him. And that is kind of the case with Stan, this guy, and like 20 other characters. I mean, look, I'm telling you, there were so many times in this season where it was like, the dead Latina woman that Vince Vaughn finds at the shipping yard that ratted on whoever about whatever. I was like, isn't that one of the sister of the hooker or something? Like, it's just a complete mess. None of it makes any sense, man. And it's like, yes, I was paying attention. I was watching the show adamantly, and this is a serious flaw with this season. Like, it was just so much story that, again, how do you write all this and then negate it at the end? It's not about our heroes dying. That's not the issue.
No, that's fine. They could all die. But
yeah, it's the fact that at the very end, again, half the freaking season finale, the first half is them saying, okay, let's figure this out. And then they're like, you know what? Fuck it, man. We're good. Let's just go get some money. Like, they could have did that shit in episode 2. Saved us a lot of stress.
Yeah, and it completely dismissed the story from having to go back and follow up with the woman who got pushed out of her house. We saw like the guy's son became the mayor, with the prostitutes, with all these people who supposedly got rescued or moved around because of our characters. They didn't matter.
Yeah.
So we never got to find out what happened. And we didn't need to know that they existed or got moved around or like helped or hurt or killed. Like, so many characters got killed during this episode. You didn't know who they were. They just got killed and they didn't matter. And I don't know. I feel like every time somebody died or somebody was in some kind of trouble, I was like, oh, does this matter? Is this going to come back later? No. Yeah. None of it ever did. And none of it mattered. Like, what needed to happen was we had to know why Casper mattered, first of all. And we had to care about them solving his murder and see why it tied into everything. And then maybe we could have had some red herrings. Maybe we could have cared about solving his murder and then been like, okay, maybe this person did it, this person did it, this person did it, and put our guesses out. Because, I mean, that's the whole point of a mystery, is there's something that's mysterious and you're trying to figure out why someone did it and who might have done it. But as far as the show went, I was never at a point where I could even guess who did it and why they would do it. And it turned out like the little bit that they tried to give us, like, oh, Casper was killed for his money. Casper was killed because of a conspiracy to screw over Vince Vaughn, or so like someone could take over his business. That wasn't it, which is okay. It's okay for it to be wrong. It's okay for it to not pan out like the way that they presented it was going to pan out. But they didn't give us anything to like buy into with Casper in the first place, to want to even guess who killed him. In the end, like I didn't care.
Yeah.
I didn't care at all about why this kid wanted to kill him, or the fact that he had killed him, because still I don't know why Casper mattered, except for there being a reason for Vince Vaughn's character to be in it. And as we said, like he was a non-character.
Well, I kind of go through this thing, and it's like it also seemed like it was like the worst case scenario. Again, I believe that the hooker, if I'm not mistaken, and again, it's so confused, I'm not sure, but I think that Casper ended up having sex with his daughter, if I'm not mistaken. I think that was implied, wasn't it? The hooker that is Glenn's sister is actually Casper's illegitimate child.
Yeah.
And she was also a hooker in Casper's circle at some point. So, like, and I'm saying that to say that that's like what Nick Pizzolatto apparently was going for, was just all these like horribly like fucked up worst case scenarios. Like what if your wife got raped by a guy and had a baby by a guy you didn't know, and you had to deal with that for 10 years? Like, even though it didn't even turn out to be true, that was the red herring that it was his kid.
Yeah,
the red herring.
Surprise of all.
Yeah, but it's just like, Let's just deal with that. Like this totally fucked up idea that, you know what, it is fucked up, but you also know what? It doesn't make any goddamn sense, okay? In the real world, motherfucker be like, we aborting this shit out of this. This is LA, man. Ain't no way in hell this dude is keeping this fucking baby under these circumstances, okay? So that shouldn't even be there. But I gotta talk about stuff like that too, where I'm like, you know what? This is where, like, here's the big issue. I'm not a screenwriter, as it turns out. But when I'm watching a TV show or a movie, and within seconds, I can come up with a viable solution to the same damn, like, thing that just makes sense versus the bullshit that we got. So I got two scenarios that I gotta talk about. And one of them is Colin Farrell's kid, right? So the kid, why couldn't his wife have been raped? And he have a kid that was either already, his wife was pregnant or something when she got raped, or she had the kid 2 years after she was raped. The kid is totally his. And the drama is just that he's a crazy guy because he ended up killing the guy who raped his wife, just like he actually did. Mm-hmm. And so he's still
carrying around that weight.
He's still whacked out, and his kid is still afraid of him, and his wife is still like, dude, you're fucking up our kid. It is literally the exact same words, the exact same scenes, except now there's a reason that makes more sense instead of this dude thinks his child is a rape baby and he's all messed up about it. Like that extra little bit didn't matter. My other issue, we're gonna zoom to the season finale. Vince Vaughn is driving in his third getaway car of the day. Okay, he's heading out of town. He's going to Venezuela. He's got money in the bank. Money in the bag, all right? He's riding, pulls up behind a car at a stop sign. The car stays at the stop sign. They got the nerve to cut to him in his car, man, like, oh man, are you gonna drive or what? And then a freaking SUV pulls up behind him and some dudes jump out and pull guns on him. Are you fucking kidding me, okay? I'm like, if you just got finished killing everybody in the city, everybody, okay, you killed every bad motherfucker in the city, you got millions of dollars in the goddamn bag and fucking millions of dollars of diamonds in your chest, let me tell you what you would be doing, just in case you don't know. You would be looking at them in that rearview mirror every half a fucking second. You'd be riding, looking around every fucking where. You would be avoiding every stop sign you saw. You would be cruising through them. If you got behind a car and that motherfucking car didn't move immediately on the stop sign with everybody there, you would back the fuck up. You wouldn't even be that close. You would never even pull up that close to a car so that you couldn't go around it if you needed to. So here's the solution to this. A fucking car rams him. We've seen it a lot of times in movies. He's driving. You can even still have the same under the bridge scenario where he actually does stop behind the car and he's like, oh shit, this is not wrong. And then boom, he gets hit by the car and they drag him out. It's just that damn simple, man. Why? You gotta actually cut to him, roll his eyes like he's just in LA traffic or some shit. Like the scenario is not apparent to him. And of course he then gets kidnapped because this is a really crazy, dire situation and people are out to get him, goddammit. But he doesn't realize this. So you can't get behind a character this stupid. So I don't give a shit about you limping through the motherfucking desert, goddammit, looking at buzzards and shit. And your dad, you're a piece of shit, goddammit. Who cares? You're an idiot. You are a piece of shit, okay? Because you're so stupid. You can't get out of the fucking city because you just let some dudes drive up behind you. Give me a fucking break.
Throw in one more.
Please.
Since the story's in LA, Taylor Kitsch's character could have totally been gay.
Oh, yeah.
This would not have been an issue. He would not have had to have a girlfriend. He would not have had to be in the closet. He lives in LA. Even if he's a cop, he can be gay here. It's okay.
Yeah. If this was the one that took place in Louisiana, maybe it'd make a little more sense for him to be worried about coming out of the closet. But certainly,
as it is in LA, I don't think many gay men would trip about somebody knowing they're gay because it's okay here.
Yeah.
It's loud. It's accepted. And so he wouldn't have been able to get blackmailed by his partner, but perhaps his partner still could have double-crossed him because he was getting blackmailed. I don't know.
Well, no,
Something else could have happened.
Well, my thing is to go back to the stupid shit again. The scenario, I don't know how you get him killed. Like actually, again, you want to be real cheap. You kidnap his pregnant wife. She's there. She exists. You put her in the story. Isn't that a much more compelling and sensible reason to get him to show up someplace by himself?
Gay. He doesn't have a lover. He just has a pregnant wife.
No. He can be gay. What I'm saying is the issue of why he went to an abandoned place by himself to get killed. Yet again, it's like because there were pictures of him kissing somebody. That was his motivation. And then hey, Bill Coro, man, just want to let you know. I just might have got myself in some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're an idiot again. And all they had to do, again, I wouldn't have liked it if they did this, but this is a simple, like, sort of lazy, common thing. They kidnapped your pregnant wife. We have her. Show up here now. And he shows up, And then they try to kill him, and they do kill him. Boom, simple
Speaking
as
of some more
fuck.
characters who got rescued, who we never saw again.
Yeah. Are they still in that room?
They're
Are they
still in that
Are they
room.
still
They're
watching
still
TV,
waiting.
slurping on the big slush or whatever?
Still waiting. Still waiting.
You know, I mean, again, they were at the little clip at the end of his funeral, but you get the point, people, man. It's a mess. Well, I didn't want this to be a completely negative thing, but as it turns out, that's exactly what it is. I'm sorry, but True Detective Season 1 is a classic season of television, and this one, well, it's not even a good one.
Definitely a fail. Definitely not worth watching. If you're halfway through, stop. You won't be.
You won't be disappointed. You may be forever curious because, hey, you're watching this video after all. But take our word for it. We did it so you don't have to.
Save yourself the hours of your life.
Yeah, just rewatch season 1. You know, it's awesome. If you've only seen it once, watch it again. I've seen it twice. It's amazing. You should totally do that. I mean, I don't know. I guess I've finished with all the griping I have to do about.
Got all your
True Detective
ranting
Season 2. I think so. Yeah, you know. Maybe we'll do a follow-up. You know, you guys leave some comments for us and we can comment on your comments. Break it down for us. But yeah, I guess that will conclude our discussion of True Detective Season 2. Again, I am MJ. You can follow me at The Only MJ on Twitter, and she is...
I'm Alex Storm. You can follow me at Alex Storm, TMT, as in The Modern Truth.
And themoderntruth.com is where you can find all of our discussion videos, Throwback Thursday videos, and all the news you need to know. Thanks for tuning in, folks, and take care.